little bit about entrepreneurship, which is part of what I do. I organize forums, or I'm invited to forums to share about entrepreneurship. I always tell people that getting yourself into any business, the first thing is to identify a gap. You identify a gap and then ask yourself one question: how can I jump in and provide a solution to an existing gap? And that's how you get yourself into any business. If I can talk about my journey with Dive-In Hotel, where we are today, for as long as I know, Kinangop has always been exploited by Naivasha, because money generated in Kinangop would always end up in Naivasha. And so there was zero development in Kinangop, because money that was meant to change Kinangop would end up in Naivasha. And so at one point I asked myself, how long is Kinangop going to be exploited by Naivasha? How can we generate money in Kinangop and retain that money in Kinangop so that we can initiate development? Because for any place to change, it's to be able to generate an income and retain it there, and also have something that attracts money from outside. So having that in mind, I asked myself, what is one of the factors that drive people to Naivasha? I found out that there was no place like Dive-In, a place where people would spend their weekend, a place where people would take their families out, a place where people who would come to visit families would have a place to stay. I saw that as a gap, at the same time as an opportunity for investment. And that's where I started. And for it to be relevant, I asked myself, how is this place going to be marketed? In business or entrepreneurship, I always remind people, for you to be known, you have to have a unique product. A unique product that is going to attract people to come to your place. And so starting with Dive-In, I actually did not start with the hotel. I started with a product that actually would attract people to come to Dive-In. And that was the swimming pool. Swimming pool is a new concept in the entire Nyandarua County. There was no other swimming pool in the entire Nyandarua County before I built the swimming pool at the Dive-In. And I did that, not that it was going to be a business product, but it was my marketing strategy. I knew the moment people hear about a swimming pool in Kinangop, the coldest place in Kenya, they would really want to find out whether it is true. And so I did that. I wanted to create curiosity among the people to be able to come and confirm whether it is true. And so I did that, and then that was successful. And true to my imagination, it happened. Actually, even before I completed, people were coming to witness whether what they were hearing was true. And so when it got finished, that first December, every space in this place was covered, because some of them had actually come to enjoy, others had come to witness the swimming, because remember, not having any other swimming pool, people wanted to witness the swimming itself. And other people wanted to understand how somebody out of the Bruce could think of something like that. That curiosity really worked for me. People came in here and they saw the pool and they appreciated everything that was happening. And so the first step, because now I have confirmed people can come, was now the hotel. I did the hotel to be able to serve the people who comes to enjoy the swimming. In the process, clients started coming, and then they would ask, you have a place where we can sleep? So an opportunity. They asked, "Do you have a place where we can hold conferences?" And so everything I was doing here was demand driven. It was out of a need. I did not just do it, but it was driven by a need. And that is the might of an entrepreneur. You don't just do things. You identify a gap and position yourself as the provider of a solution to an existing need. Even in the normal businesses, that's what is supposed to happen. You don't just jump into any business because other people are in it. I call that lifestyle. It's like you keep a cow because your neighbor has a cow. It's a culture, it becomes a culture. But if you want to be in little business that generates an income and profit for you, you have to position yourself as somebody who is providing a solution to an existing need. The reason why this place was quickly embraced because it brought a new concept within Kinangop. It provided a solution to an existing need. And now money generated in Kinangop, I have a share of the money that was going to Naivasha. We are now able, people in this community now can generate an income here and spend it here. And that related to the appreciation of even properties around this place. Just because this has happened and there is a high demand for land around here, I'd appreciate it. So there was direct benefit and there was indirect benefits to the entire community, and that's what is supposed to happen. If I give another example of somebody who actually provided a solution to a need and ended up being in a huge business, is Equity Bank. Before Equity Bank, for you to be an account holder in the mainstream banks, you had to have an account balance of 10,000. Those days, 10,000 maybe today would be like 50,000. How many would have afforded 10,000? Even the employed people, that was too much for them. And so Equity Bank came and said, you don't have to have any bank, you don't have to have any balance in your accounts to be bankable. All you need is your ID and 100 shillings to be an account holder. He provided a solution for everybody to own a bank account. And in the process of providing a solution to enable people bank, he put himself into the bank. Today, Equity Bank is one of the fastest growing, not just in Kenya, East Africa, and Africa. Just because he positioned himself as a solution provider when it comes to banking. If I want to talk about churches and business, that has always been there. It's not a new thing. Church doing business. Look at, I belong to PCA, and I know a lot of things that PCA does that are businesses. Kikuyu Hospital is an enterprise. It's an enterprise. It's a business enterprise. It generates money for PCA. It's one of the oldest hospitals in Kenya. And it was put there to generate an income, because otherwise it would have been charity. We would be going there and not paying anything. But they actually started that to be able to generate an income for the PCA. They have hotels all over. And that's just an example. Around here we have Catholics. They have a hospital that we pay for. They have an education center that our children pays for. That's business. So it's not something new. We are not inventing something new with the churches. It has always been there. And so there is no religious limitation as to whether a church can be into business. For the church to reduce pressure on their members, they have to be able to generate an income for expansion and for some of the expenses for the church. It's not something new. It's something that has been there for us as long as I know.